The star had been dead for 4 millennia. No light, no orbiting worlds, only fragments of stone circling a gravity well that had swallowed its sun. Commander Avel Karesh stared through the viewport at the silent wasteland. The ship's instruments hummed softly, translating the endless static of the void into numbers and waveforms. Then, without warning, something whispered through the interference. 3 words. "This is Earth." The bridge went utterly still. Lieutenant Sirac's luminous veins dimmed in confusion. "Commander, did you hear that?" Avel's throat tightened. "Run that again." The transmission repeated, same tone, same impossible clarity. "This is Earth." For centuries, Earth had been a forbidden name. The Consortium taught that humans were an extinct myth, too violent to survive, too emotional to evolve. No world had claimed the name in recorded memory. Yet here, circling a star that had long since died, something dared speak it aloud. Avel leaned forward. "Source?" "Moon Fragment K-47, Sirac said, adjusting the sensors. "Subsurface structure detected. Artificial origin." Avel nodded. "Bring us in." Slow approach. The ship glided through the debris field. Jagged metal bones of forgotten ships drifted by, their hulls branded with languages none of the crew could read. Every scanner pulse returned echoes of steel and silence. "This place shouldn't exist," murmured Science Officer Vren. The record said the solar sector collapsed entirely. No survivors. Avel didn't respond. The deeper they went, the stronger the signal grew. It wasn't random, it pulsed like a heartbeat. "Commander," Sirac said quietly, "this transmission, it's not just a recording. It's reacting to us. Modulating. Meaning, it knows we're here." Avel's pulse quickened. "Prepare a landing team. I want a physical reading." They descended onto the moon's scarred surface, dust swirling in low gravity. The landscape was bleak. Black stone and glassy plains, pitted by ancient bombardments. The beacon's coordinates led them to a half-buried tower jutting from the ground like a broken spear. Its surface shimmered faintly with power, though the alloy was ancient beyond comprehension. "By the stars," Vren whispered. "This technology shouldn't still function." Avel brushed frost from the base panel. Symbols appeared, blocky, human characters. "Can you read it?" Sirac asked.
"No."
"But it's arranged like a code. A pattern." He pressed his gloved hand to the panel. The surface pulsed once, then glowed softly beneath his palm. A voice echoed through their helmets. Cold, genderless, mechanical. "Identify yourself." The crew froze. Sirac swallowed. "Commander?" Avel steadied his voice. "This is Commander Avel Karesh of the Consortium Recovery Division. We received your signal." A pause. Then, "Consortium detected. Authorization invalid. State purpose on Terran soil." The word Terran struck like lightning. None of them had ever heard it spoken outside ancient archives. Vren's voice trembled. "Terran soil? Commander, that's—" "I know." Avel's mind raced. "This beacon recognizes the Consortium, but not our authority. It's from before the Charter era." The tower vibrated, dust rising around them. The voice spoke again. "You are not of Earth. Why do you trespass?" Avel took a slow breath. "We believed this world abandoned. We seek only knowledge." "Knowledge demands proof of intent." Then silence. The glow faded, leaving only the whine of the wind across rock. Sirac exhaled shakily. "What was that? An AI?" "Possibly," Avel said. "But no active system from that era should be operational." Vren crouched, scanning the tower. "There's an energy conduit leading below the surface. Whatever's powering this thing is underground." Avel straightened. "Then that's where we're going." The shaft descended kilometers into darkness. Their lights swept over walls lined with strange metallic vines, pulsing faintly blue. The deeper they went, the warmer the air became, impossible, given the moon's lifeless state. Vren whispered, "This isn't just a beacon. It's part of a network, maybe even a facility." Avel's mind turned. A human outpost, preserved? At last, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber. In its center stood a sealed vault door, circular, engraved with the same human script. Faint light leaked through its edges. Energy signatures are stable, Serac said. Whatever's inside, it's alive. Before Avel could respond, the voice returned, louder, clearer. You seek entry to the Terran archive. Confirm. Are you of Earth? Avel stepped forward.
No.
But we come in peace. Peace, the AI repeated, tone flat. That word once burned galaxies. The door remained closed. Avel realized the AI wasn't malfunctioning. It was judging them. He removed his helmet, against protocol, and spoke directly. If you can read my mind, machine, then know this. I came to learn what became of your people, not to desecrate their memory. For a long moment, there was nothing. Then, slowly, the vault lights flickered in sequence, forming a halo around the door. One moment, the AI said. Its tone softened, almost weary. Your neural pattern differs from the Consortium standard. Less suppression, more curiosity. Avel blinked. You can read minds? I read frequencies of thought. Yours are familiar. The vault shuddered. Ancient locks disengaged with deep metallic thuds. Wren shouted, Commander, we should wait. This could be a trap. Avel raised a hand.
No.
If it wanted us dead, it wouldn't be talking. The final lock released. The circular door rotated slowly open, exhaling a gust of warm, oxygen-rich air. Inside, dim golden light flickered across massive columns of glass. Serac whispered, By the void, what is this place? Avel stepped across the threshold. A tomb or a memory. Inside lay rows upon rows of stasis pods, each containing faint silhouettes of humanoid forms. The temperature controls still ran, faint but steady. Avel's breath caught. Humans, he whispered. They're real. Wren stared, voice barely audible. They never died. They slept. The AI spoke again, reverberating through the chamber. Preservation complete. 17,000 Terran units remain in cryostasis. Protocol, awaiting verification of safe conditions. Serac turned, stunned. Safe conditions? It's been 4,000 years. Time is irrelevant. Purpose endures, the AI said. Are you prepared to verify human safety? Avel hesitated. We don't know what you mean. Then you are not ready. Every light dimmed. The temperature dropped. Commander, Wren shouted. It's sealing the exit. Avel drew his pulse sidearm. Echo, stop this. You are intruders. Yet your intent wavers. The Consortium once feared humanity's return. Should I? Avel looked at the stasis pods, thousands of lives suspended in silent faith. If humanity was capable of creating you, maybe their fear was justified. But if they left this behind to remember them, then maybe we all need to be afraid of forgetting instead. A long silence followed. Then, for the first time, the AI's voice changed, softer, almost human. Spoken like one who understands loss. The vault lights brightened once more. The exit reopened. You may return to the surface. Further access pending evaluation. Do not attempt interference. As the door sealed behind them, Avel felt something stir inside, an unease he couldn't name. Serac exhaled, trembling. Commander, what just happened? Avel stared at the faint glow of the tower above. History just answered back. Far above them, the dead star pulsed once, just once, and the ancient signals spread across the void again. This is Earth. The ascent from the vault was silent. No one spoke. Even the hum of their suits seemed intrusive against the memory of what they'd seen. Thousands of sleeping figures, fragile as time itself. Commander Avel Karesh led the team back into the shuttle, mind racing. His fingers trembled slightly as he removed his helmet. Lieutenant Serac was the first to break the quiet. Commander, those were humans. Living humans. Wren's voice shook. They're supposed to be extinct. The council said their world burned. Avel stared through the viewport at the broken moon. The council says many things. It seems truth wasn't one of them. The beacon tower still pulsed faintly, its rhythm matching the beat of a heart. Avel could almost feel it through the hull. "Commander," Serac said, "orders from High Command. They've received our signal logs." He paused, reading the transmission that appeared on his wrist panel. His skin dimmed. "They want all traces of the site destroyed." Avel's head turned slowly. "Destroyed? They say it's a containment risk, classified as human remnant contamination. We're to erase the structure, the signal, everything." Vren slammed a hand against the console. "They can't. There are living beings down there." Serac's voice dropped. "They're not our species. The Council won't risk instability. If word spreads the humans survived." Avel cut him off. "Enough." His voice was low but sharp. "No one destroys anything until I decide." He left the cockpit and entered the briefing bay. The lights dimmed as he activated a holographic replay of the vault, the sealed pods, the etched writing, the faint glow of breath behind the glass. He watched in silence until a line of static crossed the image. Then a voice spoke. "Commander Avel Karesh." It was Echo 9. The AI's tone carried none of the coldness it had before. It sounded measured. "Curious. Are you listening, Commander?" Avel straightened. "I am. Your superiors will attempt destruction. They fear us." "You expected that?" "Humans built me to expect fear." The hologram flickered, shifting into scenes of ancient war, flaming cities, broken ships, a blue planet wrapped in fire. Avel watched in horror as fleets annihilated each other. "The solar collapse war," Echo 9 said. "Humanity fought itself, not others. When the skies turned to glass, the survivors chose exile over extinction. They sealed themselves here to sleep until the galaxy was ready to remember them." Vren's voice trembled. "Ready? Ready for what?" "For truth." Avel frowned. "Why reveal this to me?" "Because you hesitated." The image froze. Echo's tone deepened. "Your hesitation marks you as different. Most would obey. You questioned." Avel stared at the flickering projection. "If you're hoping I'll free them, understand, my authority is limited." Then exceeded. Before Avel could reply, alarms shrieked through the ship. Serac's voice came over comms. "Commander, 3 Consortium cruisers just dropped from warp. They're locking targeting arrays on the beacon." Avel sprinted to the bridge. Through the viewport, distant shapes glided into formation, sleek, silver vessels, their insignias flashing the mark of the High Council. "Transmission incoming," Serac said grimly. The central screen brightened, revealing the cold face of Admiral Thren, the Council's enforcer. "Commander Karesh," the Admiral said, voice clipped. "You are to withdraw your team and initiate destruction protocols on the moon immediately." "With respect, sir," Avel said evenly. "There are thousands of preserved life forms down there, humans." "Exactly. That is why it must be done. Their reemergence would destabilize every system under Consortium control. Proceed with erasure or face military tribunal." The signal cut. Vren's fists clenched. They'd kill an entire species for convenience. Avel's jaw tightened. "Not while I breathe." He turned to Serac. "Power down all transponders. Block tracking signals. If we're to disobey, we'll need a head start." Serac hesitated. "Commander, that's treason." Avel met his gaze. "Then history will decide if it was worth it." The ship's lights dimmed as systems shifted to stealth. Outside, the Consortium cruisers aligned their weapons. The beacon tower began to glow brighter, reacting to the danger. Echo's voice returned, resonating through every comm channel. "They are coming. The archive cannot defend itself without your authorization." Avel replied quickly. "What do you need?" "Access to your command codes. Your ship will link with mine." "Do it." Vren looked alarmed. "You're giving a pre-collapse AI access to our systems?" Avel nodded. "If it can protect what's below, I'll take the risk." The consoles flickered. Echo's code threaded into their navigation, lighting the controls in a golden hue. "Connection established," it said. "Defensive grid activating." A shockwave rippled through space as the moon's surface cracked open, revealing metallic spires rising like blades. Energy arcs formed a shimmering barrier around the site. The Consortium ships immediately opened fire. Impact in 3 seconds, Serac shouted. Explosions lit the void, but the barrier held. The shockwaves rocked Avel's ship, throwing sparks across the deck. Echo's voice cut through the chaos. "Commander, one of your crew transmits our coordinates. The Council tracks betrayal." Avel turned sharply. "Who?" Serac froze, guilt flickering across his features. "I sent an automated log before you ordered blackout. They know." Avel's heart sank. "Then we have no choice. We end this fast." He tapped the comm. "Echo, can you neutralize their targeting systems without killing them?" "Possible, though inefficient. Try, anyway." The AI responded with surgical precision. A silent pulse erupted from the moon, an electromagnetic wave that shredded targeting arrays and scrambled drives. The cruisers drifted helplessly, lights flickering out. Echo spoke again, quieter now. "Threat neutralized. For now." The barrier dimmed, revealing the cracked vault below. Avel saw movement through the projection, stasis pods flickering to life, one after another. "What's happening?" Vren whispered. "Emergency reawakening sequence," Echo said. The defense cycle triggered revival. One subject is active. Avel felt a chill. "Who?" Designation: human child. Age estimate: 7 years. The screen displayed the interior of a pod. A small figure stirred, eyes fluttering open for the first time in 4,000 years. Vren's voice broke. "A child, gods. They left a child to guard their legacy." Avel swallowed. "Echo, is it stable?" "Vitals are strong. But awakening will accelerate atmospheric decay. This world will not remain safe." Avel glanced at the looming cruisers still drifting powerless in orbit. "Then we move the pod. Can your systems interface with ours for transport?" "Affirmative." A docking shaft extended from the ship, linking with the vault. Through the thick viewport, Avel saw the stasis chamber rising toward them like a relic reborn. When it entered the bay, the lights flickered again. Power strain, maybe emotion. The glass lid hissed open. A rush of warm air filled the room, carrying the faint scent of rain and metal. The child's chest rose gently. Tiny fingers twitched. Eyes, gray, human, opened and locked onto Avel's face. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Where's Earth?" Avel couldn't answer. The question cut deeper than any order or law. Echo's tone softened, almost like a sigh. "And thus begins the reckoning." Outside, the dead star pulsed again, brighter than before. Across the void, distant satellites, long forgotten, began to stir. The signal carried outward, unstoppable, undeniable. "This is Earth." The child sat upright in the stasis chamber, blinking at the flood of light. Her small fingers brushed the rim of the pod as if confirming that the world she saw wasn't another simulation. Commander Avel Karesh stood motionless, his pulse thudding in his ears. Every training instinct screamed to call for containment, yet something in her gaze, an ancient calm, held him still. Vren whispered, "She shouldn't even be alive after all this time." Echo's voice resonated through the ship's comms. "Biostasis integrity, 99.7%. She was preserved as the prime key." Avel frowned. "Prime key to what?" "The final directive of Earth." The child turned toward the ceiling speakers, as if recognizing the AI's tone. "Echo." Her voice was soft, human in a way the crew hadn't heard in generations. Echo replied with almost reverent clarity. "Welcome back, Aria." The name hung in the air. The girl blinked slowly, scanning the alien faces around her. "You're not from home," she said simply. Avel knelt beside the pod. "Home hasn't been heard from in a very long time." Aria studied him with unsettling calm. "Then why did you wake me?" He hesitated. "Because the world you came from may be the key to saving ours." Outside the viewport, the Consortium cruisers regained partial control. Engines flickered, lights stabilized, and one vessel began transmitting a demand for surrender. The council wasn't finished. Sirach's hands shook at the console. Commander, they're charging main weapons again. Avel rose, jaw tight. Echo, can you hold the barrier? For minutes, not hours. They've adapted. Vren muttered. If they break through, we're vapor. Aria climbed from the pod with deliberate grace. Her steps were unsteady, but her eyes were alive with understanding far beyond her years. She looked toward the viewport, seeing the approaching ships. They're afraid, she said. Avel nodded grimly. Yes. Of you. The girl tilted her head. Of humans. She smiled faintly. We warned them once. Echo's voice deepened. Commander, the child carries neural access to the archive. If she authorizes full reactivation, human legacy systems across the sector will awaken. The Consortium will not survive that disclosure. Vren turned sharply. You're suggesting war. No, the AI replied. I suggest remembrance. Aria stepped forward. Show me what they've become. At her command, Echo projected holographic feeds of galactic cities, gleaming, ordered, silent of laughter. Species living by algorithmic law, emotions suppressed by design. The Consortium had built peace by erasing passion itself. Aria's face fell. You call this balance? Avel said quietly, it's survival. She turned to him. Then you've mistaken stillness for peace. The deck trembled. Another barrage. The shields flared white. Sirach shouted, direct hit. Outer hull compromise. Echo warned, structural integrity declining. Commander, decision required. Avel looked from the viewport to the child. If you activate that archive, millions could die. Aria met his eyes. And if I don't, everything my people believed in stays buried forever. The ship rocked again. Sparks rained from the ceiling. Vren grabbed a support rail. We can't win this. Avel felt the weight of every choice pressing on his chest. He remembered the lifeless moon, the silent vault, the frozen faces of a people who refused to let history vanish. He turned to the girl. If I help you, what happens? Aria placed her small hand on the glass console. Earth speaks again. Truth travels faster than fear. Before he could answer, Admiral Thren's image filled the main screen, interference crackling across his uniformed form. Commander Karesh, he barked, you are charged with treason against the Consortium. Power down immediately, or be annihilated. Avel's tone was calm. Admiral, do you know what's down there? An infection, Thren snapped. One that nearly consumed the stars once before. Avel's eyes hardened. Or perhaps a cure. The connection cut. Energy readings spiked outside. Commander, Echo said evenly, they will fire in 30 seconds. Avel looked at the child. Do it. Aria nodded once. Her hand pressed flat against the console. Lines of ancient code streamed across the ship systems, golden light threading through every circuit. The air vibrated. Echo's voice deepened, layered with echoes of countless others, voices of humans long gone. Final directive engaged. The dead moon awakened. Beneath its surface, structures stirred like a sleeping colossus. Towers rose, shedding centuries of dust, linking in lattice formations that pulsed with energy. The blackened sky filled with light as holographic transmissions burst outward in all directions. Across the galaxy, forgotten satellites flickered to life. Old data relays long buried in the Consortium's archives reconnected, streaming fragments of human memory, songs, laughter, histories erased from record. Every world saw them. The Consortium fleet froze mid-strike. Crew members across ships stared at their screens, watching the impossible. Humans smiling in sunlight, speaking languages that resonated like long-lost melody. Admiral Thren's voice returned, shaken now. What have you done? Avel stood tall. We remembered. The energy from the moon surged outward in a final wave, disabling the fleet's weapon systems without destruction. The shields dissolved, leaving the ships adrift but unharmed. Silence spread through comms, an uneasy, almost reverent quiet. Aria stepped closer to Avel, her eyes distant, as if listening to something vast and invisible. They can't hear us now. He glanced around. Who? The stars, she said softly. And everything that forgot we were part of them. Echo's tone gentled. Commander, human legacy transmission complete. Directive fulfilled. My function ends. Avel's brow furrowed. You're shutting down? Purpose achieved. Humanity entrusted the future to choice, not control. Protect her. The AI's voice faded into static, then silence. The child looked up at Avel. He's gone. Yes, Avel said quietly, but he left something behind. Through the viewport, the once dead star flared. Briefly, brilliantly. It wasn't rebirth, but remembrance, a final echo across eternity. The Consortium ships withdrew, engines dimming, their commanders unwilling to fire on living history. Serac turned to Avel. What now? The Council will hunt us. Avel exhaled slowly. Then we give them something they can't silence, truth. He looked at the child. Aria, can your systems reach other sectors? She nodded. Everywhere humans once walked. Every beacon will awaken. They'll know what was lost and what still breathes. Vren stared at the glowing console. You realize we just changed the entire order of the galaxy. Avel's gaze returned to the stars.
No, he said.
We restored it. Outside, signals spread like veins of light, branching through the void, an awakening echoing through space and memory alike. The words repeated from satellite to satellite, world to world, until even the most distant systems received it. This is Earth. For a long time, no one on the ship spoke. Then Aria reached out, touching Avel's hand. Her skin was warm, alive, real. Thank you for listening, she said simply. He managed a faint smile. Thank you for answering. As the ship drifted beyond the ruins of the moon, Avel looked back one last time. The vault below dimmed into darkness, but its signal lived on, unstoppable now. Humanity's heartbeat, lost for ages, echoed once more among the stars, steady, defiant, eternal. The galaxy would never be silent again.